Hey guys, welcome to Affinity Publisher tutorial. We're going to do this on the iPad. So open your Affinity Publisher and hit new. We're going to select new document, and on the left hand side you can see the sizes. There are various options. We're just going to go with A4. That is the standard size for me. And on the right hand side we see this page sizes, but also DPI 300 is good for printing. Below it, if we scroll down, it says something like facing pages. Basically, that means two pages side by side. That looks like a magazine style. But today, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to turn that off. You can turn it off as well. And number of pages, you can select any number. Today, we're going to go with 4. And this is something you can change later as well. So it's okay if you don't know how many pages you need. And down below, you can change the color. I'm gonna go with CMYK8, which is good for printing. And next, let's go to the tab at the top, which says margins and bleed. You just tap on it. Margins basically save some paper on the sides because sometimes printers are not so good at printing right on the edge. But if you're not printing, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna turn that off because I don't like seeing margins. And at the bottom, the bleeding. If you have a background, sometimes you want it to bleed out in case your paper is not perfectly aligned because you don't want the white edges, but we're going to skip that today. And we're going to hit OK. Poof. And so this is going to create a little document that we can now play around with. So I'm going to create a little rectangular shape so we can use it. You can just hit on a rectangle, pull, and you can pick a color. Let's make it red so we can see it. Okay, so now the top left tool says move. You can move the rectangle. You can also resize it, reshape it, and turn it around. Okay, the tool below it says a node. To use that, we have to convert this to a curve. So first you hit on it to select it, and then at the top there's a little triangle with dots on each side, or nodes, and you select that, poof, and now you can play with this function. So basically now you can drag each side out or in. You can tap on the side and put little nodes, and then you can do whatever you want with them. And you can also just lightly touch a side to make it curvy. Now if I select the node on the top right, I can also play with the panels at the top. I can hit the smooth one and it'll be smooth. I can make sharp, smooth, or sharp. And I can also pull it in various ways. Okay, so that is our shape. We're going to select it by you can hit move, select, and a little bin at the bottom to delete it. Next is a frame text. Frame text, you can make one large frame and then you can put text in it. But if you go on the right hand side, if you see the little A icon in the box, you hit that, and down below it says columns. You can change the size of the columns. So currently it's 1. I can tap the plus, it's going to be 2 or 3. So now you have 3 same size columns, which is pretty neat, but we're going to go back to 1, and I'm going to, with my finger, reshape it into a column like this, and then I'm going to draw another column. Okay, maybe I want them unevenly, so maybe I'm going to make this one a little shorter, this one a little longer. Okay, so here are my 2 columns, and basically, I tap on one and I can write any text I want inside. But that's going to take a really long time to fill all the columns. So at this point, I recommend you guys to hit on the 3 lines on the top left. You hit on the 3 lines. We hit on insert and insert filler text. And now we have some text in here to play with. You can do various things. You can make it bold, italic. You can change the style. Okay, let's try this one. And also, down below it says 0 millimeters. If you hit on the little arrow, it gives us various things. So you can move the text from the left, you can move the text from the right, from bottom and top. And you can also go back and align it, left align, centered, right aligned, or this is my favorite. This is the one that I typically use. So now you have a text, and you can change the color of your text as well. You can make it red if you wanted to. But basically, this is what it looks like. But now let's say you want your text to fall into the right column from the left. You select the column, you hit on the little triangle, and all you have to do is lightly tap one time on the right column. Poof. And now your text will continue in the right. That's pretty neat. All right, we're going to save that for later because we're going to use it. So let's scroll down to the next page. The next option here is a table. You basically just drag it. You can make it as big or small as you like. And once it's made, you can add rows and columns by hitting the arrows on the sides. Let's make it maybe 10. There we go. And you can just drag your finger over A, B, C, D to highlight it, pick a color, and you have a colored table. Next one down is artistic text. You basically just make a box and let's write hello inside, and now you can make this big or small. You can move it around, and you can style it in various ways. There's so many ways to style this. I'm not gonna really go into all of them today, but the typical things you can change the style. Let's make it, let's scroll down to this one. That's pretty neat. You can also change the color. Let's make it pink, and we can resize it. So that's really nice. Pretty nice to use for headers because you know what size you want them. You can restyle them. All right. So next one down below, it says a pen. Oop. We did not want to do that. Okay. Next one down below says a pen. So you just basically tap on the screen and it's going to connect all the dots in various ways to make a unique shape. At which point you can also add a color inside by hitting a color, and that is your unique shape. And then you can go back to your node function and you can add nodes and play with it like this. You can also softly drag one side to make it smooth. So basically everything we did with the node function you can do with this. You can also, when you hit on the pen, kind of drag it around to make various shapes. And then you can color it as well. Make it any color. So this is how you go about making unique shapes. One color. So for today, we're gonna just delete these shapes because we don't really need them. Let's delete everything to have a blank page. So below the pen, you already have existing shapes, and if you touch it, all the shapes will come up. We're gonna do a little rectangle again, and let's make a little circle as well. And when you're making a circle, you can see the size of it. So right now it's 79 and 63. I'm holding it with one finger, but if I tap the screen with a different finger, it's gonna give you 1-to-1 ratio. And you can do that with any shape. That's pretty neat if you want an accurate shape. And once you have the shape selected, obviously you can change a color, but you can also go down below. So I'm currently on color, the top one. On the right hand side, there is OPT, various options you can use for this. So currently under the stroke, I'm on X, so there is no stroke, but you can add a stroke. It's basically a border. Can't see it because it's so small. So if you change the width, it's going to change the border. And down below, something says pressure, and there's a little line, and you just softly, gently move that line. And you can see how it's thinner on the bottom and bigger at the top. That's pretty unique. You can move it to right or left. and it gives you a really nice little frame. Let's see, let's select. Let's do the same thing with our rectangle. Let's add a border so we can see. You can do a dotted border as well, but I like the line. And once again, we can change the pressure, something like this. You can also go under the color, and the color circle shows you what color is inside, but the one on the second circle shows you the border color. So you can change it to yellow, you can change it to any color you want. Okay, let's keep it like this. That's pretty neat. So we have our two shapes, and we're gonna keep them for later. Let's put them side by side. Okay, so next one down below is, oh, actually before I go out of shapes, there's also a really cool thing. Sometimes it has these red dots, and these red dots, you can do stuff with them like this. Like they already have their axes that you go by, right and left, and you can move this around. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty useful. We don't need this. We're going to delete it. And every time you make a shape, it kind of follows the color scheme that you've already selected. So you can play with that as well. Next is a picture frame. So the picture frame is going to have the same border because you've selected it. So if you don't want the border, you can go back and you can just say no border. But I like the border, so we're going to keep it. And then once your picture frame is selected, you hit on the tab that actually looks like a picture frame. It has a mountain and clouds, and it's blue. You hit on that, and you can add things from your files or photos. We're going to go into photos. I have a picture that I drew, so I'm going to put that in. Okay, and that's what it looks like. There's some text in the background, but we're not going to worry about that. And you can flex it in any way you want to. You can also move the picture around. So let's say the picture is centered right now. If you are double tap on it, you can just move the picture frame. Like you can just make it like this, for instance. But that's not what I want to do. Okay, you can center it. And okay, let's move it down a little bit. I think I'm good with that. You tap again, and this is your image now. There's a circular one. It's, whoops. You hit on that, you create a circle frame, and we can do the same thing. Tap on the picture frame, place a photo. Let's use something like this, add, and whoop. Be careful because it's going to create as many frames every time you touch, so you have to be on the move function. And once again, I'm going to align this slightly differently. I'm going to go like this. Oh, I don't want to see that side. Poof. All right. So we've created these two. And we're going to play around with them later. So I recommend putting them with the text. I'm going to just drag them to the top page. There's something else you can do with picture frames that I'm going to show you later. But for now, let's go back to the shapes that we have. So I have this shape here. I'm going to take the border out so it's easier to see. And so the one below says vector crop. You basically have to select your image, and then you can just crop it. You can make it like this. You can make it like this. You can crop it on both sides. All right. And play around with it in any shape or form you want. Okay, we're going to delete it for now, and we're going to put a rectangle in. And so the next option down below says gradient. And basically gradient, you make a shape and then you drag it, and your color changes like from darker to lighter. You can play around. So all the options, whatever you hit on the left, the options at the top will change, and it will give you various options to play with. There are various styles of this, linear, etc. But that's something you guys can play around on your own. And then you can hit on move, and you can stretch it to your whole page because you can make this as a background. Now that background just currently that I made just covered our image. although it was pink, we're gonna see if we can see the image anyway. So on the right hand side, so we have color, we have the strokes, and then below it we have our layers. So what you want to do, you want to take your rectangle. This is confusing because they're both rectangles, and you want to move it below so it's on the bottom, and now you can see the other rectangle or whatever else you had on this. And the next option is transparency. So it kind of works like this. You just pull on the side and it makes things transparent. You don't have to drag it all the way. It's pretty neat. You can do it in various colors on various sides. All right, and the last option is color picker. It has two options, color picker and style picker. So basically, if you have something in one color, you can put that color on other things. Or if you have something in one style, you can just style the other things the same way just by tapping on things. So let's see if we have something cool. Okay, so let's put few shapes around. So let's put rectangle. Let's put a star. We're gonna use the star later. Okay, so that's pretty good. And now let's say I want to, so I'm going to, let's see, select this star. Okay, I'm gonna tap on it. This is the object that I want to change into a different color. Then I'm gonna hit on the color picker and I'm gonna hit on any color. So I'm gonna go in the lunar thing and it's black. I'm gonna hit on black. Oh, I'm glad this happened. So currently we are selecting the frame. So if you go under color and you hit on the actual color inside, you want to select that. So currently the frame is black. So now we've selected, so this is the frame, this is the inside color. We've selected inside color. We can just hit on black and it changes to black. Now I'm going to tap my finger on something pink and the star changes to pink. I'm going to tap my finger on white and the star changes to white. So any color I tap, I'm in the lunar box, I'm just tapping various colors. It's gonna put that color in. It's pretty neat. Same thing works with the style picker, but you guys can play with that on your own. One thing I wanna show you with the star, we have the star selected, is, let's see, this is, so here it says you can convert to picture frame. So basically you just hold the star and let go and a menu is going to pop up and you can convert the star to a picture frame or a text frame. Let's try picture frame. And so now once again, we on the left hand side, that photo with a mountain, you hit on it and you place, let's place the girl inside the star. And now that's what it looks like. Once again, you can move the girl around, but I think it's fine for this. And there's another option that you can use. The awesome part about the Affinity is that if you own all of them, so I have the publisher, designer, photo, you can get the panels for the other ones. So I'm currently on publisher, but I'm gonna go on designer. And even though I'm still in publisher, on the left-hand side, my tools have changed. And now I'm gonna borrow from designer the vector brush. And I'm just gonna draw a shape. This is the shape I've decided. It's cool. Don't judge me. We're gonna go with the shape. And now I'm gonna go back to publisher. And so now that I have the shape, I'm gonna do what I did with the star. I'm gonna hold it, let go, and I'm gonna convert this to picture frame. Poof. So now, once again, I'm gonna get an image from photos and I'm gonna go with the same. And poof. Now you have a really neat thing and you can move it, oops, I'm moving the background around. You can move it around, that's pretty neat. And it looks handmade pretty much. So it's pretty cool for flyers. I really like this Etsy handmade kind of design. Obviously you can be more neat with this and take your time. So that's really cool. And that is the beauty of this, as you can use everything, all the brushes, you know, you're not overloaded with brushes because you know where they are located. What you use in photo is not necessarily what you're going to use in designer, but it's nice to have access for them. Okay, and the last thing I want to show you guys is the text. So we're going to scroll down to the text and let's see, I'm going to move this at the top and we're going to move this square thing at the bottom. And so let's see, currently it's covering my text and that's not really looking really neat for me. So I'm going to go on the right hand side on our panel. There are 3 dots. Do you see the 3 dots on the right hand side? And the second option says text wrapping. You want to select that. And it has various wrap styles. Make sure when you do this that your photo is selected. My photo is currently selected. And then, so basically this moves the text above and below your picture. You can see this is under your picture. It goes under your image. This goes around your image, and this is going to go around your image if it's not a square thing, but we currently have a square thing, so we're going with this. And sometimes, let's see, so that was pretty cool, but let's say I want to put this picture here. So let's make this smaller at the top. And see, the text is moving down with it. That's pretty neat. But let's say I want to put the lunar. So I'm going to select the round one. It's selected. Maybe I want to make it a little, let's keep it small because the picture is small. And now we can play around with it as well. But see how this is round, but there are edges for the square on this. Oh, and here is the one for the circular one. So this is the circular image. But you almost see that the text is really, really nearby. It's too close to the image. So if you go down, it says distance from text. And it's currently unlocked. I'm going to lock it because I want it evenly on each side. And I'm going to make it maybe 4. So I just have to hit 1 and all of them change. If you don't want it evenly, you just unlock and only one of them is going to be changing. But I don't want that, so I'm going to lock it and I'm going to do 4 on each side or 3. Another way of doing it, let's say you have a tree and you don't have a round object. I don't really have a tree, but we're going to play with this anyway. You hit the bottom wrap outline. If you hit wrap outline, you can just basically drag it. So if you had a little tree, you can shape it in a tree. And every time you hit on it, you can put a little node. You play around and you can go around your image. So, okay, well, that's not the best tree image, but you get the idea. And then the text kind of follows your outline. So if you have like a girl standing in, and it's a nice little curve, you can curve your text around it. So that's pretty neat. And that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and I'll see you next time.